This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Monday, the 3rd day of August in the year 2020. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. On his first full day on the job, President Irfan Ali met this morning with heads of departments and senior staff members at the Ministry of the Presidency, which is the official office of the President. It was Mr. Ali's first official meeting with government workers since taking the oath of office on Sunday. The President told staff members that he will be looking forward to their continued professionalism as they go about their daily jobs.
We are going to work in a unified manner. We are going to work in a way that would see the people of Guyana, that would see every Guyanese benefit from the resources of our country. The ultimate goal of the government is to deliver quality, efficient goods and services to every citizen of our country. I want to thank all of you for your continued service to country, and I want to assure you that Guyana requires the skills and experience of all of us to work in a collective and collaborative manner if we are to build a strong and sustainable country, if we are to build a country in which all of us can be proud of, a country in which all Guyanese can celebrate and be happy to be part of.
President Ali also reminded the staffers that he prefers teamwork and also noted that he believes in building a united Guyana and will depend on their continued service to attain that goal.
I've always been a strong believer in teamwork. I've always been a strong believer in collective thinking. So I expect all of you to recognize that we have to operate at the highest standard, the most efficient way, and to set the bar for the rest of the public service and for the rest of our country.
Prime Minister Mark Phillips and Minister of Governance Gail Teixeira attended the meeting also. And the new president is also promising to work on behalf of all the people of Guyana. He was sworn in as Guyana's new president yesterday afternoon, hours after a final declaration of the election results by the chairperson of the Guyana Elections Commission. Moments after he was sworn in, the president said he will be upholding the oath of office that he took and will serve the people of Guyana without fear or favor.
I want to assure you that I will uphold that oath, that I would work every day in the best interests of the people of Guyana. There is only one future, and that future requires a united Guyana. That future requires a strong Guyana. That future requires every Guyanese to play a part in building our country and ensuring we leave a better Guyana for the next generation. We are in this together. We are not separated by class, by ethnicity, by religion, or political persuasion. We are united in the true Guyanese spirit.
Ali said he will soon be unveiling the plans for his new government as he gets down to work this week. Moments after his swearing in, he appointed former GDF Chief of Staff, retired Brigadier Mark Phillips, as the new Prime Minister. Mr. Ali also appointed former President Bharat Jagdeo as the new Vice President, who will head the transition team. Anil Nandlal will return to the Attorney General's chambers, and the party's Chief Whip in Parliament, Gail Teixeira, has been appointed Minister of Parliamentary Affairs and Governance. The transition team for the new government was busy in meetings all day today. More news coming up in just a moment.
Tired of long lines? Register with MyGTT at mygtt.co.gy. That's mygtt.co.gy to view and pay your bills from anywhere. Enter to win an Amazon gift card worth $25 or a bounty voucher worth 5,000 Guyana dollars when you sign up today. GTT, do more.
GBTI is your Guyanese bank, a bank that understands every customer's unique needs, opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. At GBTI, we see you for you. Whether you're buying a new home or car, planning your next vacation or retirement, saving for your child's future, or whether you're ready to take that bold step of investing in your dream business idea, we are with you every step of the way. We hear your stories and watch you focus on your dreams as we share your aspirations. We are more than just banking. We are a family. We are part of your community. Our commitment extends way beyond the walls of our branches and is demonstrated every day in the opportunities we provide to our individual and business customers. The support, time, and commitment we give back to communities across Guyana to help improve the lives of our Guyanese families. Because we see Guyana through your eyes.
Hi Guyana, it's your boy Kimo Paul here. Reminding you to stay at least 1 meter away from persons, or 3 feet, to avoid contracting the flu or the COVID-19. It is also important that we stay at home and to avoid gatherings of more than 5 persons. We must all play our part, so let's protect ourselves and our families from COVID-19. We must all play our part. The Ministry of Public Health cannot do this alone, so let's all come together and fight this virus.
For further information, check our website www.health.gov.gy or visit the Ministry's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or Twitter page.
Welcome back. Let's tell you now that former President David Granger has issued a call on supporters of the APNU-AFC coalition to continue to conduct themselves in a lawful and peaceful manner, as the coalition will move ahead with the filing of an election petition. In a statement on Sunday, Mr. Granger said he has never budged from his position that he would abide by the declaration of the Guyana Elections Commission. He said while the APNU-AFC coalition respects the lawful consequences of the declaration, he maintains that the final report on the elections that was ordered by the court and presented to the Commission contains significant anomalies and irregularities. Mr. Granger said the APNU-AFC coalition cannot endorse a flawed report and will continue its campaign to ensure that the votes of all Guyanese are accurately recorded, tallied, and reported. He made it clear that the coalition will challenge the declared results lawfully, peacefully, and purposefully. The former president offered thanks to the Guyanese people who supported the coalition at the last elections and supported him during his presidency. He also extended thanks to the coalition partners. The APNU-AFC coalition has been allocated 31 seats in the National Assembly, based on the declared election results. The Director of Public Prosecutions flexed her legal powers this morning and discontinued the private criminal charges that were filed last week against the chairperson of the Elections Commission, retired Justice Claudette Singh. DPP Senior Counsel Shalimar Ali Haq wrote the Chief Magistrate this morning to inform her of the discontinuation of the case. The GCOM chair was scheduled to appear in court this week to face the private charges, although she has indicated that she was never served with the charges and she believes they were filed to embarrass her. The charges were filed last week by 2 private citizens who were contending that the GCOM chair had conducted herself improperly in office because she did not accept the first election report filed by the GCOM chief election officer. While the DPP discontinued the private criminal charges against the GCOM chairperson, the private charges that were filed against the chief election officer by representatives of the PPP and the New Movement still stand. Well, while offering congratulations to the new president and his government, the Atlanta-based Carter Center, which served as an observer for the elections, has issued another call for electoral reform in Guyana. In a statement today, the Carter Center said Guyana's 2020 elections turned out to be a true test of the country's democracy, highlighting deep divides that persist in the Guyanese society and the ways that the current political and electoral systems reinforce those divisions. The Carter Center said it is critical that key leaders in Guyana now reach across the divide and work to ensure that fundamental electoral and constitutional reforms are completed as an urgent priority well before the next election. According to the Carter Center, Guyana's political leaders spoke of the need for electoral and constitutional reform during their campaigns, and therefore the center calls on them to now work together to ensure those reforms take place. The Carter Center believes the new government needs to move quickly to begin the reform process. Turning now to the health sector, Region 9 now has the most active cases of coronavirus in Guyana. As of yesterday, there were 84 active cases in the region, and the number could possibly increase as the region awaits results from 50 samples that were sent to the city for testing. Over the weekend, Guyana recorded 73 new cases of COVID-19, with the majority of those cases in Region 7 and 9. Over the weekend, Guyana recorded 73 new cases of COVID-19, with the majority of those new cases in Regions 7 and 9. Today, the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Shamdeo Prasad, said there is a clear need for an end to all the illegal cross-border movements.
The health authorities are busily engaged in tightening the measures to prevent further transmission of the raging coronavirus disease. So I plead with you to halt the illicit cross-border movement. Look out for the migrants and report their presence immediately to the authority. On a personal level, I ask you to cooperate and comply with the regulations of social distancing and the hygiene etiquettes.
Dr. Prasad said the spike in Region 9 comes in wake of the exponential increase in Brazil, where new cases and deaths continue unabated. Brazil currently has the second highest number of cases of COVID-19 in the world.
I wish to repeat Dr. Tedros' statement, which I shared with you last week. He intimated it's never too late. Even epidemics can be turned around. I also think that we can thwart the trajectory of this disease in the city, behave responsibly, and respect the health guidelines. In our hotspot regions, 7 and 9, curtail your cross-border movement and minimize your exposure to the disease. In our mining communities, manage and control the influx of migrants. And remember, always to wear a mask in public.
Guyana currently has 268 active cases. The country recorded its 21st death over the weekend also. Police investigators are continuing their probe this evening into the shooting death of that taxi driver inside a nightclub. A 21-year-old taxi driver was shot dead and 4 other persons were injured during an early morning shooting inside the Magic City nightclub in Garnet Street, Kitty. The incident took place in the wee hours of Sunday morning. The dead youth has been identified as Raymond Lindo of Diamond Housing Scheme East Bank, Demerara. He was known to law enforcement, having been charged previously in connection with a robbery. There was 1 visible gunshot to his abdomen, according to a senior police investigator at the scene. The identities of the 4 injured persons have not been confirmed, but they are all patients of the Georgetown Hospital nursing gunshot wounds. One of the injured persons is in a critical condition, having been shot 4 times. He's suspected to be one of the shooters, and he too is known to law enforcement. The taxi driver, who was pronounced dead on the scene, was reportedly with friends inside the club when several gunshots rang out. He was discovered unresponsive in the bathroom area and was dragged out of the club by a friend as other persons ran for safety. Neighbors in the residential area said it was just after 4:30 in the morning when they heard loud gunshots from inside the club. One neighbor said he initially heard 2 gunshots and thought it might have been an electrical issue, but then he heard several other shots and saw persons running out of the club and scaling the fence on both sides. The police and paramedics responded promptly to the emergency calls and were able to rush the injured persons to the hospital. The dead man was left behind to be taken away by the Lycan Funeral Home. Several of his family members gathered at the scene and broke down in tears at the sight of his covered body. They said the last time they saw him alive was around 5 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Several police investigators were seen picking up spent shells outside the club. From all appearances, while the shooting might have started inside the club, it continued on the outside. Investigators believe there were at least 2 persons involved in the shooting. The Magic City nightclub, which is an exotic dancing club, has been operating beyond curfew hours for several days, although the current COVID-19 emergency measures prohibits gatherings at clubs and bars. Police have been called to the club several times in the past few weeks as neighbors expressed concern about the gatherings late into the nights and early mornings. The probe into the incident is ongoing tonight. A late-night accident at Wim on the Quarantine Coast in Berbice has claimed the lives of 3 persons. The 3 dead persons have been identified as Jessica Leach, Kwesi Lewis, and Rion Mariah. The accident, which involved a motor lorry and 2 cars, occurred at around 11:30 last night along the Wim public road. A police statement said the motor lorry was proceeding west on the southern side of the road, while one of the cars was proceeding in the opposite direction. The motor lorry driver said he was parking the vehicle on the parapet when the car slammed into one of his rear wheels, and another car also collided with one of the rear wheels. The impact of the accident resulted in the top of one of the cars being almost completely ripped off. The injured persons were rushed to the hospital, where Lewis, Leach, and Mariah were pronounced dead. Breathalyzer tests were conducted on the 3 drivers who all survived, and 2 of them were found to be intoxicated. Charges are likely to be filed against them as the investigation is ongoing. The Guyana Police Force has launched an investigation into threats that were made against former government minister Simona Brooms outside her private residence early this morning. Brooms told news source that she was in her yard around 6 a.m. when she heard a loud knocking on the outside. She explained that when she investigated, she saw 2 men removing no fishing signs that she had placed across the road from her home along the park that she maintains for the community where she lives.
Got a hat, a green hat, flap hat, pull in your face, and a mask, so you can't see no face at all. And he raised up his head with a bang. And he said, we in control, we broken on this sign, we will be taking control. We can come right here and kill your mother, so and so. So I'm lost because me talking to her, so I'm saying, who is who? What really happening? And I didn't realize that someone was in the veranda upstairs saying, wait, is who? So I now wanting to know is who come with this threat. So within that, I run and get my bike. The little bike I ride around here, and I going out, and then the driver ran down and said, no, Mont, you can't go up on this bike. And he came with the vehicle, I jumped in the vehicle, and I saw the youngster lashing and he run. So when we drive up now, we now hustling into park white car.
Ms. Brooms said as she questioned the men about why they were there, one of them issued a death threat. The 2 men ran from the area and jumped into a car as she went into her vehicle along with the driver and chased after them. The men were eventually cornered in Sophia and ran from the car. All this time, Brooms was live on Facebook, documenting all that was taking place.
So I go in behind the car and I'm going live to try to get help to see if somebody would call the police or what. So after chasing the car, they turned, they go into Sophia. When they meet into Sophia, the car stopped and 2 men exit the back seat. One is the guy who I recognize as the one to say, I'm going to kill your mother, so and come right here for you. They exited the car and going over the bridge. So I jump out of the vehicle and left the drive. I jump out of the vehicle and I'm running behind them because I wanted to know who is the person. And then when I got to them, and a car came to my rescue, and I says, you want to kill me? The guy said, what already happened? And he met me out. He said, Miss Brooms. I said, no, they came to my residence. And when they took off, they had, I saw one of them to be, I think it's Dion Young, who's a PUP councillor on the town council. And the other youngster, he fighting to keep on his hat and the mask. And somebody took off the hat and the mask, and I saw his face.
When the men were cornered by residents and the former minister herself, one of them was revealed to be a PPP candidate and a sitting member of the city council for the PPP. Brooms said she contacted the police and she's hoping for a thorough investigation, since she does not take kindly to threats against her and her property. Across the Region is coming up next.
We give thanks for real. You spend all that money on your watch. How much time you spend with your son? So much money in the club. How much you spend with the ones you love? The simple things are your blessings.
Cheese, please. Remember Tyrus Riley, this one we aim to please. The music will never ease. Cheese, please.
They've made a positive impact on the heavy-duty transportation industry in Guyana since they've arrived. Guyanese are amazed at their power, durability, efficiency, and superior handling capabilities. These are brand new trucks, manufactured in partnership with German, Italian, and French companies. They have a powerful reputation for operating under very adverse Guyanese conditions and come with full after-sales service and spare parts. They're the most sought-after trucks today, with over 500 units in Guyana, and they're available in over 100 countries, including South America and the Caribbean. Be smart. Buy brand new ST Howo trucks today. Call 608-4998 and arrange for an inspection at ST Truck Guyana Incorporated, Block B, Public Road, Covenant, East Bank, Demerara.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about, and ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
The following is an important message from the Ministry of Public Health. Getting your workplace ready for COVID-19. Surfaces such as desks, tables, and telephones with keyboards must be wiped with disinfectant regularly, or at least every few hours. Use containers of hand sanitizers and place them in prominent places around the workplace. Provide access to places where staff can wash their hands with soap and water, and promote regular hand washing at the workplace. The Ministry of Public Health has a hotline to provide information on the coronavirus. Members of the public can call 227-4986 or 624-3067.
Across the region right now, the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association is calling for the immediate closure of all primary schools. The call is being made because of the increase in COVID-19 cases in people who have not had any history of recent travel. The virus has even affected some students, and at least 4 schools, the latest being Montrose Government School, have been ordered closed because of possible exposure. In a statement, the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Teachers Association said the association views with extreme concern the continued increase in COVID-19 cases across Trinidad and Tobago. The official said this has significantly impacted students who are preparing for the secondary entrance assessment. She said the association is committed to the protection of its members as well as the welfare of the students. In Mexico, Mexican security forces have seized the head of a criminal gang specializing in stealing fuel from pipelines in one of the central states. The man, Jose Antonio Yepes, better known as El Raro or the Sledgehammer, was one of the most wanted men in the country. Mexican police had been closing in on him in recent months and had taken his mother and sister into custody. Their arrest prompted him to release a bizarre, tearful video last month, declaring war on the security forces. The women have since been released. Police arrested a suspect in an early morning raid on Sunday on 2 houses in one of the central locations, also freeing a kidnapped businesswoman and seizing several weapons. 8 other persons were at the 2 sites, most of them suspected gang members. They too were arrested. And finally tonight, international news. At least 41 passengers and crew on a Norwegian cruise ship have tested positive for coronavirus. Hundreds more passengers who traveled on the MS Ronald Ombudsman are in quarantine and awaiting test results, the company said. The ship, which belongs to the Norwegian firm Hurt Igogden, docked in the port of Tromsø in northern Norway on Friday. The company has halted all leisure cruises because of the outbreak. A preliminary evaluation shows a breakdown in several of the company's internal procedures that they believe led to the outbreak aboard the cruise vessel. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting.